Hey, it's MK, and I am back with another off-the-board layout for you guys today. And today is Sketch Sunday. I'm going to take this Allison Davis sketch and create a pocket page with it. I love finding sketches where I can manipulate them into pocket pages. So I've got this wood veneer piece that I created for our cruise ship, and then I added some thicker letters to finish off my title. I have some leftover pieces from what is it called? A dusty attic chipboard piece. They're actually the negatives, and I went ahead and sprayed them just so I could get bubbles. I've got a couple 49 and Market, as well as Simple Stories die cut pieces. From Scrapbook Addicts, I have these awesome compass rose pieces in 3 different, not flavors, but I want to say colors of metallics. And then from my pocket card set that I picked up on the ship, I'm going to go ahead and use a couple pieces. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the geotag or the insignia, the Royal Caribbean insignia, but I definitely want to keep with the circles. So I'm going to use these pieces. Not sure about the map. I really want to include the ship. And then, of course, the port day on this one here. I almost forgot why. I cannot believe the usage that I'm getting out of this this little kit. I have some netting that was gifted to me by a viewer. And then I also have some dusty attic portholes, as well as some portholes and an anchor from Bramble Fox. So these portholes here are actually 3D. So you take the smaller piece and you put it on top of the larger piece. So I'm going to give that a try to see how thick it is. I've got this muted background that's kind of a grayish and this gorgeous plaid. It is from Close to My Heart, the mix in between September and October of last year. So 2023 was where this paper came out. And I take my mix-ins and I actually mix it in with my Reads as a Solid paper stack, which is not very big, you guys. It's not even an inch thick. And then from 13 Arts, I have this awesome paper here. I'm not really sure which direction it goes, though. I don't think it really matters, but it is from the Travel the World collection, and it is paper Discovery, but I don't know if she sells them individually or not. I actually picked mine up from an Etsy shop over on Etsy, and to be honest, I do not remember what the shop's name was or anything. I apologize. I'm going to use this piece here that is from the packaging from one of the foundation papers, and I'm using the backside of a previous layout that I have already created sometime in March. So in my pockets, I have multiple photos. I thought I was going to do flip-flaps on each pocket. And then the more that I kept putting this layout together, the more I was like, well, I don't have anything to put on the underside. I really don't want to mix my photos up. I just really don't want to use 3 flip-flops and then have nothing underneath the flip-flops for me to talk about or say. When we got to Nassau, I believe that this is where, yes, this is the port of Nassau. I apologize, you guys. You would think I would know how to say it by now. There were 2 other cruise docks, 2 other cruise lines docked at the exact same time. And some of these pictures are mine, some of these pictures are Kathy's, and some of these pictures are Janet's. And I have to say that I'm ecstatic with all the different views and focus points that make these pictures interesting. She being Kathy, actually watched one of the other cruise lines undock and took pictures of it backing out of port. And so that was super cool. And I was trying to include that in as one of the pictures. And spoiler alert, in the end, I do not end up keeping any of the extra pictures, you guys. I just don't. I finally came to my senses and realized that I don't really need everything. All right, so I'm also showing you guys the process of how I'm going to be cutting up everything. So I picked the grayish as my photo mats. That'll be behind all of the solid photos. And then I picked the packaging background as my main 4x12 strip. And then, of course, for my two 3x4 pockets, I went ahead and used the ship's wheel paper from 13 Arts. So that way I have a nice good mix. And then what I'll end up doing is up in the 4x12 section, I will go ahead and add a grayish photo mat to my photo up there. And I don't know if I end up bringing the ship's wheel print up in there either or not. I think I tried and then I just decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm also going to use this pocket card from the collection that I picked up on the boat as my title piece. So it's going to help me anchor my title together. I love the fact that the world is in the background. Now I do end up covering it up a lot more than I expected to, but I still like the feel that I get from it. I still like the look when it's all finished and said and done. So I'm just throwing pieces out there. I knew I wanted to use this silver piece because I don't want to add a whole lot of color to this layout. I really want to keep it within that pocket card, even though I do add a little bit of yellow into the layout because of this anchor that I happen to be, well, it's not really an anchor. It's more like a docking pier, I think is what it's called. I think it's called a pier, or a pillar. I don't know at this moment. But because it is bright neon yellow, I am going to color my Oasis of the Sea title in yellow as well. So that way I have the 2 points. I also really wanted to use the other compass rose that came on my chipboard sticker sheet because it had a little bit of yellow in it as well. However, the way that I had to get it to fit on my layout, I end up covering up the yellow, but it still looks great on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and color the porthole, the chipboard porthole, and I'm going to start with the Dina Wakley white because of the fact that I didn't want so I'm using shimmers to color this. It's not acrylic. I'm using shimmers to color my chipboard, and I didn't want the shimmer to soak. I didn't want the color to soak in and the shimmer to stay on the top. That's what I'm trying to spit out, and it's just not working. So I'm basically priming my piece with this white paint. I could have used gesso for sure and a paintbrush, but this is what I happen to have on my desk, and I'm being super uber lazy at this moment. So I'm going to take my Don't Be Swayed, I think is what it is called. It's just a gorgeous brown color, you guys. This is my go-to color. I think I have about 3 bottles because I do not want to run out of this color. And so I'm going to color in on top of my Dina Wakley white. Now, however, it works just like gesso. The paint is not going to soak in. So I went ahead and I put a coat on, dried it. Now I'm putting a second coat on and filling in those gaps. And now that my brown paint is dry, I'm able to fill in a lot more of the gaps and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to allow it to dry yet again. And now I am taking Penny in Your Pocket, which is their acrylic paint spray from Shimmers, and I'm going to go ahead and just lightly brush over all of my brown. I don't want to take away from my brown. I gave it a nice base, but I don't want to saturate it in this bronze it's Bronze Baby. I apologize. It is not Penny in Your Pocket. Penny in Your Pocket is gorgeous though, but this one is Bronze Baby, so I apologize. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink up the edges because the raw edges just drive me nuts. So I'm inking those up and giving this a 3D distressed look, okay? I'm going to ink up both pieces. That way when I lay this small piece on top of the large piece, it gives it that shadow effect that it is actually a working mechanism type of thing. I think it's really super cool, you guys. I love Dusty Attic's 3-dimensional pieces. I don't really like to go past 2-dimension. But sometimes I do splurge and I get into the 3. I just think 3 is a little bit too thick for me, in all honesty, because the chipboard itself is already thick enough, and then you're adding all those dimensions. So I went ahead and I cut out, I traced and cut out my photo. I wasn't sure if I was even going to put this photo in. It's not the best photo of me, and I think I already do have a photo of me standing next to this pillar. I don't know, you guys. But yes, I went ahead and added it for interest. Janet always says that it is good to have non-people-y photos, but it's nice to have that mix with a person in it, to give it that interest, right? So there was the backside of the pocket page, and I'm just sharing with you guys one piece of how I'm going to put my pocket together. I glue everything back to back. I know I've said that in multiple pocket page multiple pocket page videos, that I glue all the things back to back because I don't like the shifting in that small pocket. I still don't grasp the concept of how, when there's very little space for me to stick the card in, how does it find time to shift, or where does it get the shifting? I mean, I just don't know. So anyways, to avoid it and to save my sanity, I actually just glue everything back to back. So now that everything's glued back to back, trimmed off and nice and neat, I'm going to go ahead and work on my 4x12 piece, which is of course my title page. I do love this design. I picked up this design, I believe, oh my gosh, I think this is a super old Stampin' Up! Design, to be honest. When they paired with Project Life, they came out with some super unique designs, you guys. I wished I would have known that they weren't going to last and picked up a couple more. All I did was picked up 10 packs, and they went by so fast. I think I'm down to my last 2. If this is not Pocket Stampin' Up!, then I got this at scrapbook.com and it's still available. I do not know, and I did not look it up. I apologize. So one of the things too is my adhesive backing does not soak up the paint. So I wanted to go ahead and take it off before I got my fingers all inky and then got yellow where I did not want to get it yellow. I did not realize that my adhesive backing wasn't going to soak up the paint. So when I took it off of my wax paper, it was still all really yellow and really juicy. And so that's when I just brought in my messy rag and went ahead and blotted off all the colors. I did decide to use that boat. I really do, ship, sorry. I really do like how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and create a really cool title with the ship on top of what is, my title wood piece that just says Oasis of the Sea, and then I'm going to use the word docked that is from a thicker set, and I'm going to let them overlap. And I love overlapping the alphas, you guys. I really do. I love it in all of my social media posts, when I'm sharing little thumbnails. I really do like when all my letters touch. I don't know. It just makes it look like this is how you're supposed to read it, type of thing. I don't know. I'm just in love with it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding the little polka dots part of this sketch. Like, so far I haven't done anything that that says you're following a sketch. No, I haven't. So basically, I'm just using the embellishment cluster idea that I picked up from said sketch, right? The photos that Allison Davis has going across, which is her 4x6s, that's where my photos are, but they're horizontal. They're a different orientation than what's in the sketch. And so up at the top, I have my title card, and then I've got a little couple polka dots going on. I don't really have a journaling spot. I tried to put one in, but didn't like the fact that it was square, so I opted to leave it out. And then, of course, just like I said, gave that nod to the polka dots going across the top of the photos. And then I'm going to have that compass rose coming down into the photos. And then my main cluster, I pulled out a photo. So I've got the photo going on. My title, instead of it being down in this 2 little 4x6 pocket area, I put my photo up at the top instead, just because of where I had the space in the room. And then it gave me more freedom to create with more circles. So here's where I'm trying to get that compass rose to fit in and display some of the yellow. I just really don't like that orange. I just felt like it stuck out too much. So I'm going to try to cover it up. I'm going to try to add some tickets in there. I've got this high tide, good vibe, little sticky word saying. I was going to try to add this branding strip in from my mix-in paper because I added it up at the top, and there's also that strip that's below the central photos. I tried to add that in there. I just really didn't like it, so I pulled it out. Just decided to go ahead and stick with the polka dots. And because I'm working on the outside of my layout, I'm going to go ahead and use sticky dots or glue dots, as well as the tear and tape. So I just find that that is the best adhesive for my pocket, the outside of my pocket cards, right? Or my pocket pages. I also use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive when I have to on really skinny pieces. That also works really well. Just know that if you have little ones and they like to tug on things, it will pop off. If you're just going to flip through the layout and not really touch and feel everything, then the Nuvo adhesive works perfectly fine. But if you really do give it a little bit of pressure and peel it off, it will pop off. For the Nuvo adhesive. The glue dots and the tear and tape, I have not had that issue just yet. This is also going to be sandwiched between two 12 by 12 page protectors, so I know that it's going to be nice and safe. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I did add more of that webbing. I love how that looks, and I'm adding pieces underneath as well as on top. I decided not to use any of the tickets. I just didn't like how filling they were. They took up a little bit too much of my design of the paper. That's really what I'm trying to save here. Port Day does have that orange on it, but it's not as prominent as where that orange blur was on my compass rose. I did tuck my compass rose in down on the other side to kind of hide the orange piece, but yet let the yellow kind of peek out just a little bit. It's not as much as I wanted it to be, but in all honesty, if I got to get rid of the orange, I had to get rid of the yellow. So that's how that worked. I'm going to go ahead and finish this layout off with the little tiny word sticker that I have, which is not very tiny, but it still works. Trim off my netting just a little bit. I love the addition of the netting, you guys. I really, really do. And like I said, I personally love taking sketches and turning them into pocket pages. All right, so here is my final design, and I could not be happier with it. I love doing these random pocket pages with the different styles. Like I just don't want to work with 4x6s. I just don't want to work with 4x4s or 3x4s. I love having a large panel of a 4x12 or a 6x12 or something different to play with. Now this did end up getting to be a little bulky, so I will add my tiny little paper clips that I get. Stampin' Up's usually has some in various colors and whatnot. Tim Holtz has his in, of course, the grungy bronze and brass and things like that. So I just use the really tiny ones. I don't use the normal stretched out ones. These ones are teeny tiny. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. As usual, I will have the links down below for Off the Board, as well as all of my other cruise layouts that I have. I've got a playlist going on for them. And then, of course, if you're interested in finding out about our cruise for 2025, I have a link for that as well. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and I will check you later. Bye.